Welcome. I'm Donald Cannon, and I'm going to talk about my favorite thing, Великий могучий английский язык. Today we're going to discuss time and prepositions that you use with time. First of all, we've got different elements of time, and they range from seconds to years. Now in Russian, you use certain prepositions with each of these elements of time, but in English we use different prepositions, and that's where all of the trouble comes in. One principle I like to use with my students is to begin with something that you know, not with some rule that you don't know. So we'll start with Russian prepositions and time, and then we'll move into English. Imagine a triangle. At the top, you've got your smallest elements of time. Секунды, минуты, часы. At the bottom of the triangle, you've got your biggest elements of time. Годы. Okay, let's say, keep the triangle in mind, let's say I bought a book. When did I buy the book? Я купил книгу в 2 часа сегодня. А эту книгу я купил утром. А ту книгу я купил в понедельник. На прошлой неделе. В мае. Летом. В 2015 году. Now you're thinking we're going to discuss time elements in English and what prepositions go with them, right? No, wrong. You all know that English has more exceptions to the rules than rules themselves. But what you might not know about is a little strangeness of character common to English speakers. We love to talk about why something doesn't follow the rules before we talk about the rules themselves. This is almost an American perversion. I'll talk about why something doesn't work before I'll tell you why it does work. Now, English grammar works somewhat the same way quite often. We often have to apply the exceptions to the rules before we apply the rules themselves. And we have to do exactly the same thing here with prepositions and time periods. So, the exception that you need to remember is this. We say this week, last May, next summer, every Monday. And when we do that, we don't use any prepositions. We use 4 different modifiers, this, last, next, and every, without any prepositions. Now, 3 of these 4 modifiers correspond to our times, our tenses in English. This is present tense, last is past tense, next is future tense. Okay, let's go back to our triangle and talk about hours. I bought the book at 2 o'clock today. Я купил книгу в 2 часа сегодня. Now, when we're talking in English about a certain time or doing a thing at a certain time, we quite often drop out o'clock. So I bought the book at 2. Next, let's say you're talking to your friend about meeting her, and you want to meet her at 2 o'clock. You translate в 2 часа as in 2 hours. Now what you've really said is я тебя увижу через 2 часа. So if you get the wrong preposition, you get the wrong meaning. What you really meant to say was I'll see you at 2 o'clock. Я тебя увижу в 2 часа сегодня. Okay, let's go back to our book. Я ее купил утром. We'd probably say I bought it this morning. This is a modifier, so we don't use any preposition. So we've got a bad example. Let's think up a different example. Let's go to the park in the evening. Пойдем в парк вечером. When you use творительный падеж, you use in English. It's really a second rule. Well, it's not really a rule because can you imagine an English grammar book saying, with prepositions of time, use in instead of творительный падеж. No English grammar book is going to know anything about Russian cases. So it's not a rule. But if you treat it like a rule, it'll always work for you. Now we can say this in a different way. Let's go to the park this evening. That would be like пойдем в парк сегодня вечером. Сегодня вечером, this evening. But notice that it's a modifier, this evening. So there's no preposition. 2 different ways we say this. Let's go to the park in the evening, or let's go to the park this evening. Let's say today is Tuesday, and you bought the book yesterday. Я ее купил в понедельник. Only we don't say in Monday, we say on Monday. It's just that simple. Remember for days, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Sunday. Let's say I bought the book last week. На прошлой неделе. In the first place, it has a modifier, last week, so there's no preposition. Secondly, can you think of any instance in English or in Russian when you wouldn't use a modifier with week? You always use a modifier. На прошлой неделе, на этой неделе, на будущей неделе. Same in English. This week, next week, last week. So with weeks, you don't use any prepositions at all. Okay, let's talk about months. This is really easy. It's exactly the same in Russian as it is in English. I bought the book in May. Я ее купил в мае. But let's say I didn't buy my book at all in May. I bought it in August. Я ее купил летом. Now, what case did I use? Творительный падеж. It doesn't make any difference whether I bought my book утром or летом. It's always in. I bought my book in the morning or in August. And lastly, let's go to years. This is a piece of cake. It's exactly the same in English as in Russian. I bought my book in 2015. Я купил книгу в 2015 году. In. Now you're probably asking yourself, how am I going to remember this fast enough while I'm talking? This question brings up another principle of teaching. Any grammar explanation is only as good as a memory device that you get with it. Can you remember all of the grammar rules that your teachers taught you? No. Why not? Probably because they didn't give you enough memory devices. So here we've got 3 points. First of all are our modifiers. This, last, next, and every. If you use them, you don't use any preposition. Second point, творительный падеж, in. And the third point, now this is where the memory device comes in. Imagine a triangle again. At the top, you've got your smallest periods of time. At the bottom, you've got your biggest periods of time. Now, split your triangle in two. At the top, the prepositions are different in English than they are in Russian. I bought the book at 2 o'clock. I bought the book on Monday. In the bottom of the triangle, the prepositions are the same in English and Russian. I bought the book in May, and I bought the book in 2015. As you're speaking, think a few words ahead. You know that a preposition of time is coming up. Imagine the triangle in your mind, figure out the level you need, and you'll automatically get the right preposition. I know this sounds hard, but if you start practicing it, it will become very automatic and very easy. You'll see the triangle in your mind and you'll get the preposition immediately. That's all I wanted to say today. Thanks for listening.